Hello, my friends. Again, let me say welcome to another episode of John's Sports Corner. And I'm going to say thank you for your tremendous support. It can be seen when you go to Sosofat TV.com. All over the last 4 months, we have attained over 23,000 subscribers and over 6 million views. And John's Sports Corner is an integral part of the response that we have been getting from you, our viewers and our listeners. So again, let me say thank you so much. And John, again, I'm going to say my compliments and thank you so much for this program that we now have in our diaspora, something that addresses sports on a consistent basis in our community, not just on the airwaves, but on the television networks. Thank you so much, John. So again, let me say welcome to John's Sports Corner.
Thank you so much, Trevor, and a very good afternoon. Hello, universe. How are you doing this Wednesday afternoon? Again, as Trevor said, welcome to John's Sports Corner. Certainly before we march into this afternoon sports roundup, let me again remind you to go to Winner's Circle Radio in the Sosofat shop and purchase merchandise that's listed there. As usual, in another, next weekend, it's Chocolate Day, Lover's Day. They call it Valentine's Day. But maybe if you go into the Winner Circle Radio in John's in the Sosofat shop, you might very well find something unusual to give instead of chocolate and flowers. Of course, there are T-shirts there, backpacks there, there's sorrel mugs, and the great Jamaica Blue Mountain coffee. So, guys, go again to Winner Circle Radio in the Sosofat shop and make a purchase. Before we talk sports, and it's probably sports item though, let's get into the sad sporting news first. Photojournalist Colin Cumberbatch has died. Colin was Guyanese who made his home in Antigua and was closely connected and traveled with the West Indies cricket teams during those glory years under the captaincies of Sir Clive Lloyd, Sir Vivian Alexander Richards, Isaac Vivian Alexander Richards, and Sir Richie Richardson. During my days at WLIB, Colin would come by several times when he's in New York and share a lot of inside scoop on West Indies team and players that never and have never left my lips. Years ago, while listening to a radio station from Jamaica one afternoon, newsflash, Calypsonian Arrow has died. I immediately called Colin, who was quite close to Arrow, and he confirmed, yes, that Arrow had passed. Some people call Colin Jabby, some Bones. I called him Bones. So Bones, rest easy, my friend. We have also learned of the passing of Tiger Woods' mom, Clotilda Woods. Tiger often spoke affectionately on how his mother supported and shaped his career, noting he was more fearful of her than his dad. Of course, his dad was also a military man. So you probably understand if he feared his mom more what kind of discipline she brought to the table. She was the enforcer. She was 80 years old when she passed, and certainly from John Sports Corner and the Sosofat family, I extend heartfelt condolences to Tiger Woods and his family. It is also with profound sadness that I have to mention this one. Netball Jamaica Sunshine Girl Captain Janelle Fowler Nemhard, who missed the recent series against England and South Africa because of pregnancy, has lost the baby. It would have been her second child. All I can say right now is peace and much love to Janelle and her family. Okay, so let's jump into some birthdays. As yesterday, Shemaine Williams, a young athlete, celebrated her birthday. So too Hall of Famer Lawrence Taylor, that's a football Hall of Famer who had those great years with the New York Giants, celebrates her birthday. Former boxing champion Oscar de la Hoya also celebrated a birthday yesterday. And today, Marlon Samuels, Jamaican West Indies cricketer who is now retired and who won a couple of World Cups with the West Indies cricket team, celebrates a birthday. Ronaldo, the Cristiano Ronaldo, out of Portugal, he celebrates a birthday today. Wendell Downswell, who is involved with one of the leaders of Jamaica's football, he celebrates a birthday. Akila Smith, athlete, she celebrates. Former great baseball player Hank Aaron would have celebrated a birthday today. Another footballer, Neymar, who was in the news, who has returned to Brazil now after leaving the Saudi Arabia team Al Hilal because of injury. He celebrates a birthday today. Tomorrow, this is how I became a fan of Manchester United football team out of England. I was in high school in 1958 when I learned about the plane crash in which killed several players and staff traveling with this Manchester United team. So, Trevor, certainly heartfelt condolences to the players who were lost and the staff who were lost back then in 1958 with Manchester United. Let's start with some cricket now. It's official. Chris Daring is now the Cricket West Indies CEO. With Daring at the helm, Cricket West Indies will embark on a new push toward strengthening its cricketing structure. Cricket West Indies have launched their new data-driven scouting system that is hoped will unearth cricketing talent in the region. The new initiative will see senior talent managers, territorial talent advisors, and a network of scouts working together to provide a structured analytical approach. Cricket West Indies appointed Jamal Smith for males and Anne Brown John for females as senior talent managers, while the territorial talent advisors are Henderson Brooms out of Barbados, Ramnaresh Sarwan out of Guyana, Delroy Morgan from Jamaica, Samuel Spencer from the Leeward Islands, Gibran Mohammed from Trinidad and Tobago, and Craig Emmanuel from the Windward Islands. The ongoing Cricket West Indies 4-day championship is their first major assignment. They'll be putting together and tracking statistical information of cricketers and create a clear pathway for emerging cricketers to progress. There are also 4 regional scouts in Felix Thomas out of Dominica, Stacy Ann Adams out of St. Vincent, Anthony Gray from Trinidad and Tobago, and Shane Jeffers from St. Kitts, who will assist in evaluating talent. West Indies Regional 4-Day. Let's talk about the Regional 4-Day as round 1 ended over the weekend. Leeward Hurricanes by 402 runs over the West Indies Academy at the Coolidge Cricket Ground. The Hurricanes 358 and 289 for 9 declared. Academy 145 and 100. Guyana Harpy Eagles by 10 wickets over Barbados Pride at the Guyana National Stadium. Harpy Eagles 382 for 9 declared and 78 without loss. Barbados Pride 346 and 112. Tevlon Anderson 101 in the Eagles' first innings, while Richie Lucknoth had match figures of 9 for 92 for the Eagles, while Matthew Ford picked up 5 for 69 in the Eagles' first innings. Trinidad and Tobago Red Force by an innings and 75 runs over the combined campuses and colleges. Red Force 504 for 6 declared. Jason Mohammed 176, Jidguli 121, Cephas Cooper 80, Avinash Mahabir Singh 2 for 142, Abhijay Man Singh 2 for 116. The combined colleges and campuses 222 and 207 are pair with match figures of 9 for 90. Jamaica Scorpions by 178 runs over the Windward Volcanoes. Scorpions 337 and 277 for 7 declared. Jermaine Blackwood getting 109 and 75 in the second innings for the Scorpions. Volcanoes 195 and 241. Teenage leg spinner Tamari Redwood, the destroyer of the Volcanoes' second innings, 7 for 72. Tamari Redwood is also an Excelsior High School student. Round 2 bowled off earlier today, and the latest at Stumps. Guyana Harpy Eagles against the combined campuses and colleges at Providence. Well, Eagles, let me just say this first. Eagles get back Tevin Imlach and Kevin Sinclair from West Indies duty, and also Shamar Joseph returning from injury. The combined campuses and colleges batted first. There are 279 for 6 at Stumps. Jonathan Jeremiah 84, Kyle Corbin is 62 not out, Shakiri Paris 56, Demario Richards 40, Ronaldo Ali Mohammed 3 for 37, Virasamy Pramod 2 for 67. Leeward's Hurricanes, Jamaica Scorpions at the Sir Viv Richards Stadium. Hurricanes get back Casey Carty and Mikhail Louis from West Indies duty, while O'Shane Thomas returns to the Hurricanes. Jamaica at Stumps, 306 for 9. John Campbell, the captain, 126. Brad Barnes is 53 not out. Jeremiah Louis 3 for 37. Rakeem Cornwall 3 for 71. And Hayden Walsh 2 for 78. Barbados Pride against the West Indies Academy at Kensington Oval. That's a day-night game. Barbados get back Craig Brathwaite and Jomel Warrington from West Indies duty, while Zishan Motara replaces Michael Palmer in the combined campuses and colleges lineup. Barbados Pride currently 310 for 1. Craig Brathwaite is on 133 not out. Jonathan Drake's 110 not out. Zachary McCaskey, 49. The only success for the combined campuses so far is Joshua Bishop, 1 for 85. The Windward's Volcanoes and the Trinidad and Tobago Red Force at Arnoldvale. Volcanoes see the return of KVM Hodge from West Indies duty, while Lee John replaces Ryan John. For the Red Force, they have replaced Vikash Mohan, Tian Webster, Antonio Gomez, and Justin Manick with Amir Jangu, Anderson Phillip, Jaden Seals, and Joshua De Silva, all returning from West Indies cricket duty. Windwards were bowled out for 166 earlier. KVM Hodge, 126. The only Windward Islander to get into double figures. Harry Pierre, 4 for 17. Yannick Carrier, 4 for 30. Red Force were 5 without loss. Sunday, February 9th, 2025 could be a significant day in West Indies cricket history, as the Barbados Cricket Association and the Guyana Cricket Board say they will attend the Cricket West Indies special meeting in Antigua, where they will voice their concerns. Both absented themselves from the December 6th meeting, where discussions on governance was on the agenda. I gather that both the Barbados Cricket Association and the Guyana Cricket Board are not opposed to the proposed amendments to Cricket West Indies Articles of Association. They just question how it's being handled and that previous concerns are being overlooked.
You know, John, the question is, now that Guyana has oil that can done, and therefore might have the capacity to invest more in cricket than the other islands. They want to flex a little bit of muscle, okay? And Barbados have that long track record of historical record behind them. Maybe we're gonna see a little bit more
muscle flexing.
Yeah, muscle flexing.
Remember Trinidad and Tobago also has oil too, Trevor. And they seem to be they have been on board with what it was happening. Well, the Trinidad and Tobago president is also vice president of Cricket West Indies, so I guess he has to be on board with the current leadership in Cricket West Indies. You mentioned that, Trevor. There in Guyana now, from what I understand, there are also under construction a few cricket fields, and which will provide, I guess, I don't know if you want to give them an opportunity to host more international cricket.
Well, from my perspective, John, I look at Barbados as more closely aligned with England, UK, their cricketing perspective, and probably more influenced by the UK. While I look at Guyana as being more influenced by India.
And Trinidad?
And Trinidad.
Maybe. But yes, but then as you say that, Trevor, I say Trinidad showed up at that December 6th meeting, but Guyana didn't. And Barbados, because apparently they requested certain or expressed certain concerns that was not addressed in the way that they wanted to be addressed. But they say they'll be coming to this meeting now, in which I guess they will be voicing their concern, the February 9th meeting, which is actually next week. Next week, what is it, Sunday?
Well, I guess you could say they're coming with a bigger boat.
Well, and some oil initiatives. You know, anyway, Trevor, let's move on with Australia scheduled to be at Sabina Park in the summer. The Jamaica Cricket Association is hoping to upgrade the lighting at Sabina Park before the Aussies arrive. The upgrade is expected to be somewhere between 70 and 75 million Jamaican dollars. And it includes acquisition, shipping, and installment. We understand the discussions between the Jamaica Cricket Association and the Ministry of Sports are in an advanced stage. The Jamaica Cricket Association is said to have submitted all the required documents to the government and are hoping to get confirmation in short order. 29-year-old West Indies women's all-rounder Chanel Henry has been called to replace the injured Australian captain Alicia Healy on the UP Warriors squad for the Women's Premier League in India. Healy has been ruled out of the tournament with a stress injury to her right foot. The Women's Premier League bowls off on Valentine's Day, February 14th. T20 king Dwayne Bravo has been dethroned. Afghanistan's wrist spinner Rashid Khan is now the highest wicket taker in T20 cricket when he dismissed Dunish Welaje in qualifier 1 in South Africa 20 on Tuesday, breaking Bravo's record that stood at 631 wickets. Rashid said he never imagined this when he started his career 10 years ago as a teenager in 2015. The ICC Women's Under-19 World Cup in Malaysia is done and dusted now, and India's Under-19, the class of the tournament, as they strolled to the championship by 9 wickets over South Africa on Sunday in Kuala Lumpur, and became back-to-back ICC Women's Under-19 cricket champions. South Africa 82 from 20 overs, Mikey van Voorst 23, Gongadi Trisha 3 for 15 from 4 overs, Puranika Sishodia 2 for 6 from 4, Ayushi Shukla 2 for 9 from 4 wickets. India Under-19 women 84 for 1 from 11.2 overs, Gongadi Trisha 44 not out, Shanika Shalki 26 not out, and Gongali Trisha was player of the match and player of the series. She was the highest run scorer in the tournament with 309 runs and also picked up 7 wickets. Now, just to let you know that South Africa Under-19 women, they defeated the Australia Under-19 women to get to the semi-final, while India Under-19 women defeated England's Under-19 women to get to the final. Talk about wrapping up a series, Trevor.
Mm-hmm.
India wrapped up their 5-game 2020 series against England by winning Game 5 by 120 runs to win the series 4-1. India 247 for 7 from 20 overs. Abhishek Sharma 135. Bryden Cars, 3 for 38 from 4 wickets. England, 97 in 10.3 overs. Phil Salt getting 55 of those 97 runs. Mohammed Shami, 3 for 25 from 2.3 overs. Abhishek Sharma was player of the match, while Varun Chakravarti was adjudged player of the series.
Question, John. We might want to give our viewers just a little background that our players rewarded, John, for some of the outstanding performances that you keep on mentioning.
For
the individual.
At that professional level, yes, Trevor.
Or are they rewarded, John?
They get a little kind of, I call it a little memento, a little trophy.
Okay.
But it also goes with usually some kind of financial incentive.
Okay.
Oh yes. Oh yes. Yeah. It's not like when I played and won a championship and we just got some lemonade after the game or water.
John, you're lucky you got lemonade and water. On some occasion, you're told you just kept your place on the team.
You know, that's so true. Yeah. Trevor, Australia by an innings and a 242 runs over Sri Lanka in the Galley first test. Australia 654 for 6 declared. Usman Khawaja 232. Steve Smith 141 and Josh Inglis 102. Prabhat Jayasuriya 3 for 193. Jeffrey Van der See 3 for 182. Sri Lanka 165 and 247. Matthew Kunderman 9 for 149 match figures. Australia women were also winners by an innings and 122 runs over England women in their lone Melbourne test. Australia women 440, Annabelle Sutherland 163, Beth Mooney 106, Sophie Eccleston 5 for 143. England women 170 and 148. Alana King, the destroyer of the Aussies innings, she picked up 9 for 98 match figures. And in track and field, St. Lucia Sprint Queen has gotten her season off to a blazing start, and we are talking about Julian Alfred by winning the 300 meters at Sunday's New Balance meet in a St. Lucia national record 36.16 seconds. Dina Asher Smith out of Great Britain trailed with a personal best 36.87 seconds. Meanwhile, Raj Benjamin ran a personal best 32.21 seconds to win the men's 300 meters. Of course, you know, Raj Benjamin, who runs for the U.S. actually, is the son of a former West Indies cricketer out of Antigua, one Mr. Winston Benjamin.
DNA.
Yes, Jamaica's sprint hurdler Akira Nugent placed 4th in the women's 60 meters in 7.92 seconds. And Jamaica's 400 hurdler Jaheel Hyde has called time on his career. He excelled at the junior level, winning gold in the 2013 World Youth Championships in the 110 hurdles and World Under-20 titles over 400 hurdles in 2014 and 2016. He never broke through at the senior level. And so at age 28, he has decided to retire. His personal best over 400 hurdles is 48.03 seconds. And, but I think Jaheel had a reasonably good career, Trevor. Just unfortunate that he never really broke out at that senior level. And he seemed to have had the goods, but just never um that final 100 meters over the hurdles, the 400 hurdles is not easy, no, Trevor.
You're out of breath and you're out of gas.
I mean, the last 100 in the open 400 is not easy, much less going over hurdles. I did enjoy watching Jaheel Hyde run. As a matter of fact, as a youngster, he was also a very good soccer player. And someone that if he, which one where would he go? Track and field or soccer? And he went track and field side. The development track and field meet scheduled for this weekend in Jamaica are the Big Camperdown Classic at the Jamaica's National Stadium, King of the Ring at Excelsior High School, and Western Relays at GC Foster College. Outstanding junior athletes DeAndre Daly and Shanoya Douglas will be honored at the Western Relays meet. And you know, the organizer of the Western Relays, Trevor, Ray Harvey, I actually went to prep school and high school with him.
Oh,
And you know, we met a few times on the track, but I always trailed Ray Harvey. Yeah.
I guess he was fast.
He was pretty good, a pretty good hurdler, you know? Yeah. Moving along in football, Jamaica Reggae Boys coach Stephen McLaren expects a stiff challenge from Trinidad and Tobago in their upcoming two-game friendly, Game 1 at the Montego Bay Sports Complex tomorrow and Game 2 at Anthony Spaulding Sports Complex 3 days later. Coach McLaren has added Tyreek McGee to his 28-man squad that he named last week. And meanwhile, Trinidad and Tobago coach Dwight York, he named a 23-man squad for the two-game friendlies against the Jamaica Reggae Boys, including the squad are teenage sensations Daryl Garcia, who is 17 years old, and Linda Sween, 18 years old. The Soca Warriors will also use the friendlies against Jamaica as preparation for the CONCACAF Gold Cup preliminary playoffs, March 21st against Cuba, and the 25th, where they play in Cuba, and then on the 25th, they play at home. And included in the Soca Warriors squad is 20-year-old Nathaniel James, who actually plies his trade with Mount Pleasant Academy in the Jamaica Premier League, and he is hoping to impress his coach Dwight York so he can hold a permanent place in the Trinidad and Tobago Soca Warriors squad. Reggae girl defender Alison Swaby on the move again as she has left Italian club AC Milan and inked a 2-year deal with Crystal Palace in the Women's Super League. This is her 6th professional club since launching her career with the Icelandic outfit KFF in 2018. After just 12 appearances with KFF, she caught the attention of Italian giants AC Roma, where she spent 3 years, including winning the Coppa Italia. Then she came to the US to play in the National Women's Super League with Angel City, followed by a brief loan spell with French club Paris Saint-Germain. Then she returned to Italy with AC Milan, where she played until her transfer to Crystal Palace. The Palace team is struggling in the Women's Super League with just 5 points from 12 games so far, and they sit at the bottom of the table.
So they're looking for an injection, John.
They're looking for more than an injection. Even a transfusion. You know, and I hopefully Alison she can help them defensively, but we'll see. But I think they need they need more than Alison Swaby at this point of the season. But I guess there's still time. Where there's a will, they say there's a way, Trevor. You know?
Oh, yes.
Okay, so let's go down to Jamaica now in the Jamaica Premier League, and just run through some results from last weekend, and last week there were actually some midweek games. Portmore 2-1 over Humble Lion, Racing 2-1 over Chapelton Maroons, a record fourth win for Racing. Dunby Holding 2-0 over Mobay. Harbour View upset Mount Pleasant 2-1. Actually, Harbour View snapping Mount Pleasant 12-game winning streak, which is a record in the Jamaica Premier League right now. Cavalier 2-1 over Veer. Arnett Gardens 5-3 over Tivoli Gardens. The midweek games, Racing 1-0 over Harbour View. Montego Bay United 3-1 over Waterhouse. Dunby Holding 3-1 over Chapelton Maroons. Mount Pleasant and Portmore in a 0-0 draw. Mount Pleasant 4-1 over Veer. Of course, you know, that Mount Pleasant win was actually their 12th win in a row before they lost to Harbour View in an upset. And Cavalier and Tivoli in a 0-0 stalemate, while Arnett Gardens defeated Humble Lion 5-1. Let's cross the waters again over to England. In the Premiership, we are Nottingham Forest 7-0 over Brighton. You don't really see these kind of scores in English Premiership football, Trevor.
Not at all.
7-0. Liverpool 2-0 over Bournemouth. Everton 4-0 over Leicester City. Southampton 2-1 over Ipswich. Fulham 2-1 over Newcastle. Wolverhampton Wanderers 2-0 over Aston Villa. Tottenham 2-0 over Brentford. Crystal Palace by the same score 2-0 over Manchester United. And United have lost. They have lost now 7 home games. And I think the last time this has happened to Manchester United was in 1894. That's a couple of years before I was born.
Man City must be wondering if they have the city.
No, Man United.
No, I'm just saying that Man City owns the city.
Well, they're not doing too well themselves this year either, Trevor. Anyway, Chelsea 2-1 over West Ham. Marcus Rashford no longer on the outside looking in at Manchester United, as he is now with Aston Villa on a transfer loan deal. The deal runs until the end of the season, which includes an option to buy for just under 50 million US. Rashford did not find favor with new coach Ruben Amorim at United. Although Coach Amorim said his side would be better with Rashford in it, but Rashford did not meet Amorim's standards demanded of his squad. Seems as if the coach was not happy with Rashford's effort and maybe attitude in training. And mistakes by the VAR, the video assistant referees, are down at this point compared to last season in the English Premiership. There have been 13 mistakes compared to 20 after 23 rounds last season. The 13 mistakes are made up of 4 incorrect VAR interventions and 9 missed interventions. Moving on to Women's Super League, Arsenal women by 4 goals to 3 over Manchester City women. Ace striker, reggae girl, Khadija Bonishaw was back in the Manchester City lineup. She came on in the second half after missing quite a few games because of injuries. Let's move into some netball, Trevor. Following a series wins over England and South Africa, Jamaica's Sunshine Girls coach Sasha Gay Henry Wright feels the team can become the best in the world with more exposure. To ensure continued development, Coach Henry Wright is hoping Netball Jamaica can find the resources that will allow the team to take advantage of international windows. Sunshine Girls' next opponent will be named in coming months. In the meantime, Coach Henry Wright will have the girls training and doing background work to help maintain the team's high standards. And ahead of the girls are the 2026 Commonwealth Games in Glasgow, Scotland, and the 2027 Netball World Cup in Sydney, Australia. Certainly, Trevor, you know, as she said, the Sunshine, and I've said this before, Sunshine Girls, problem is the rest of the Caribbean teams are, let's call them weak. And so when the Sunshine Girls need to some real competition, they either have to go to England, Australia, or New Zealand. Yet Malawi and South Africa have been building quite well now and have pretty good teams. But for the most part, that's if the Sunshine Girls need competition, that's what they have to either travel across the pond or they bring those top teams in. And it's it's unfortunate that like a Trinidad, Grenada, Barbados, St. Vincent, St. Lucia don't have stronger netball teams.
Is that would you consider that as a lack of resources that impacts their development, John?
Well, Jamaica don't have much resources, Trevor.
Yeah, but their largest
But
Caribbean.
there is a
know.
netball. I think if I might say, there is a netball culture in Jamaica because even when I worked back then in Jamaica, there was not only a netball Jamaica competition or competitions, there was also business house competitions. Yeah, and and of course coming through primary school, prep school, high school, the netball competitions are fierce.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's where the development begins. And I'm really not too sure of how competitions are in these other islands. But netball is big in Jamaica.
Do you think that sports should be something that CARICOM discuss when they sit down at their round table, John? And I say that sports to the extent that they should be discussing Caribbean sports, just like we discuss the other aspects of Caribbean travel, Caribbean court of justice, Caribbean education, like the University of the West Indies as a central where education is concerned. Is it make sense that the things that makes and should balance or region should be on their table, that they are not they do not exclude certain developments that are low in certain places and just take it for granted that certain places are just going to do better, because if that's the case, then education would be a problem and travel would be a problem, on all the things that they seem to think they have a duty to address on a regional basis.
You know, Trevor, I don't, I guess, well, it, you say sports comes down to money. Does CARICOM have money to, should I say, invest in sports? Or we just leave it to the individual islands to deal with their own sports?
Well,
Um,
CARICOM doesn't have money to, CARICOM doesn't invest money in anything that we are doing, John. They have more money, period. But the direction of the region, you know, can be promoted by CARICOM, so that if you're looking for investments to come into the region, you don't just talk about for shipping or for education or for agriculture, because we are more than that. You know, we are more than we are more than the few things that they might buy. So if sports, the West Indian cricket, West Indian, you know, there was a time we talked about federation. What is the purpose for federation? To build.
and I tell you something, you know, Trevor, I am not too inclined to have CARICOM interfere with sports, not telling the truth.
Well,
Because I see what happens in cricket now, and I wish they wouldn't really get themselves involved. Just get your get your economy together, booming, and it will filter down to sports.
you take care of that.
Take your economy. And I think it will, what I call it, the trickle down effect. Because I think if the economy is strong, and for instance, let's say Jamaica's economy was strong, and you could have more businesses involved in netball, putting their dollars in netball. And this is, you remember when we had our what's her name on talking about, she's running for the presidency, you know, and the presidency of the netball Jamaica supposed to be coming up this month.
Okay.
One of the things I had asked her about our netballers now, quite a few of them are playing in the top leagues in Australia, New Zealand, and England, but mostly right now in Australia. What happens if Australia, like England did years ago, decides that, well, too many Jamaicans playing in my league now? And particularly if at the next World Championship that Jamaica win the netball World Championship with all those stars who play in the Australia Suncore League, defeating Australia in Australia. You think Australia going like that?
Well, maybe that is the best thing that should happen, that maybe they should not like it, John. I say that because maybe what we need in the West Indies, in the Caribbean region, we need a draft. Just like how we have the NBA draft, where the poorest teams, John, get access to the best player. Okay? And then eventually you're going to end up having parity. All right? Because if the best team is always taking the best player, then this stands to reason that the worst team will always be at the bottom of the barrel. Basketball has worked out a beautiful system, John, where parity, and even the NFL has come along and done the same thing.
But
Parity.
remember, this is not a league, no, you know, Trevor.
Well, maybe they
These are, you're talking countries here now, not leagues.
and maybe you need to organize leagues, John, in the region.
Well, and this is what I came to with oh boy, her name just slips me now, but
Well,
um
I
yeah, Karen
okay,
Rosenbach.
Rosenbaum.
Yeah. Um she the how are we developing, or what are the plans to develop a professional league in Jamaica that can rival the Suncor League? Can we do that? Yes, we can. But how do we get there? That is how that is how we have to look at it, Trevor. How do we get there? What's on the timeline to get there? Because as I say, if Australia ever decide that they don't want 5, 6 Jamaicans playing, we know they have, I think it's 8 or 9 Jamaicans playing over there now. And all of them play on the netball team. And look at even the last series against South Africa in Jamaica. Janelle didn't play, who is our shooter, and Romelda, the two shooters. But Shimona Nelson Jack comes in and did a very good job. And she also plays in the Suncor League. All three actually play in the Suncor League.
Well, I would hope, John, that when we talk, in as much as we recognize the weakness of the other islands, that any discussion that we're having, therefore, is about how do we strengthen the other islands, because Jamaica is already strong, and yes, a league in Jamaica is gonna thin out the talent, so you're gonna have them scattered across the island, and then when you put them together, yes, you're gonna have a super team. But we're talking about the regions, and Australia region is bigger than the entire Caribbean region. Australia is a continent. Okay, so we're talking about even us or best playing on a continent. Okay, I think that established leagues like NBA, NFL, hockey, across the example that we see, Europe, okay, where again, they have a draft system that dictates who gets first pick and who gets second pick, and people can trade, yes, like they normally do. But I would think that if you establish a compensation system where the player is not really worried about where they play because they're gonna be paid.
Mhm.
They're gonna be compensated based on the fact that they are part of a league and they're drafted XYZ and this is what they're entitled to. Then it will force more competitiveness,
Yeah.
okay, into the system. And it will be good to see the #1 draft pick coming out of the Caribbean going to one of the weaker islands, where they become the nucleus of
Or you know, Trevor, let's say Jamaica establishes a professional league,
right.
netball, and then they can start going around the Caribbean and picking out players.
Same
Our
thing.
teams can go. But you know, Mrs. Bernard, when she was president, she had started what did they call it again? High school competition, island, high school championship,
Mhm.
high school uh, championship across the islands.
Mhm.
I need to find out where, because I think it was because of COVID, it didn't happen, and I'm not sure it is back on the table. And I'm going to check with her.
Okay.
I'm going to check with her about that one.
Okay.
But I think if I don't know, you see, it is going to take some company, a couple, 2, 3, maybe 4 companies to decide, well, you know what? We're going to get on board with netball and we're going to build netball. We're going to build a solid professional league in Jamaica.
Mhm.
Companies, you know, as a former manager of a major company, that companies will put their money where they're going, where they can see results.
Yes.
And sometimes, and I don't know that a company will say, well, let's start now and hope we get the results. You know,
Well,
but I think if a group of companies were to get together and put up X number of dollars to say maybe start, say, a 6-team professional league in Jamaica, that would ensure that the young ladies get paid. Because let's face it, even now, some of the top players in Jamaica who play in the business house leagues, some of them getting their jobs, I dare say, because they can play netball and they come to play netball for that company.
right.
Now, if you hire this person because I can play netball, Trevor, why not have a professional league then? And instead of this person coming to do a job from 9 to 5 or whatever it is, and then she have to go and play for your company in a league. You have this person like track and field, then getting up at 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, and they have a 6-hour day of training ahead of them, or a 7-hour day, whatever it is, and they just play netball.
Well, that makes sense, but I would hope to think, Don, that the companies that we are speaking of are already have an established brand, and they're really interested in having their presence recognized by the community as supporters and builders of the of community culture initiative. For example, when you look at Brooklyn, when you never had a basketball team in Brooklyn. You have a basketball team in Brooklyn, but what's the name of the basketball? What's the name of the stadium? The Barclays Center.
Mm-hmm.
The Barclays Center. It's not a bank inside the stadium. What is the name of the one in Queens where the Mets play? Citizen Field. Again, established brands, John, you know, that puts themselves out there in front of thousands of people every time you go across, every time you come to a game. And they have not only done that, but they have kept the competition out.
Mm-hmm.
So we might be faced with a lot of marketing initiatives, okay? While we can say at this stage, for example, that Sabina Park needs repair, but it's not being repaired. That we have a stadium down in Falmouth that is falling into disrepair because nobody has really marketed the idea that we could actually call the stadium in Falmouth Carnival Cruise Stadium. Okay? That idea is not planted anywhere. So you are
Or even what has happened to the Montego Bay, the complex at Catherine Hall, that the track round there for track and field has gone into disrepair
right.
for the last several years.
And you could and you have companies in Jamaica themselves who you could say, you know, rebrand this building under your company's name. Okay? And get the mileage from it for the next what, 30, 40 years? The brand, the presence that you are the one who is standing with the community. I think it's a lot of marketing or creativity in some of those instances, John. That's all I'm saying, that I see what is happening when they're building a multi-billion-dollar stadium in Los Angeles or some other places where teams are moving to. and you look on it and you see what the name of the building is.
Mm-hmm.
And branding is where most businesses are putting their money right now, John,
Mm-hmm.
into branding. So, you know, we might hopefully if this little tidbit that we're talking about floats out there, it might land on some good soil. I don't know, John.
You throw your corn, but you know, corn a foul.
Okay.
Anyway, let's move on, Trevor. Trinidad and Tobago to host the 2025 Carifta Game scheduled for April 19th through the 21st. The Aquatic Swim Championships, April 19th through the 22nd. And the Open Water Swim on April 23rd. The state of emergency that was declared in December in Trinidad and Tobago because of increased violence will end or is scheduled to end the weekend just before the Easter holidays. Mike Sands, president of NACAC, believes despite the current situation, the events will be held without much alarm. Trinidad and Tobago men are in Croatia for the Federation of International Hockey Indoor World Championships, and the Calypso Stickmen opened on a losing note as Australia brushed them aside 7-2 in their opening game on Monday. And then today they also lost game 2, this one to Namibia, 6-3. Their final game in the Group C, is tomorrow when they take on Belgium. The in Trinidad and Tobago Premier League, AC Port of Spain and San Juan Jablotec played to a 0-0 stalemate, while Defence Force squeezed by Phoenix 1-0. Caledonia 2-1 over Prison Service. Club Sando 2-1 over Point 14. Guyana Cricket Board has announced Saturday, March 1st for their next annual general meeting, and election of officers will take place. In March 2021, Bisun Diyal Singh was elected unopposed as Guyana Cricket Board president, and as of now, no challengers have emerged to contest the position come March 1st. Neither has Singh confirmed that he will run again. And in the world of football, that is the one that I don't understand why they call football, that you run with your hand. But it's one of the big sporting Sundays in the US this Sunday, and they call it the Super Bowl Sunday. And the Kansas City Chiefs have to clear a roadblock called the Philadelphia Eagles if they intend to win their 3rd Super Bowl on the trot. I don't know if the Eagles will swoop down out of the air and snatch the Chiefs.
Well,
But
it's just one thing, John. Both of them has feathers.
well, who's your choice, Trevor?
Well,
You know,
I have to go with the American Eagle.
the Eagles, the Philadelphia Eagles.
Yes.
You know, Trevor, I hate to going against my dear wife. You know, I love her dearly, but I think the Eagles have this one. The Eagles, Trevor, they have won just one Super Bowl when they defeated the New England Patriots 41-33 in 2018. So, you know, after Sunday's game, I hope you have space if I need a room. Because Mrs. Melbourne might put me out.
Well,
But she's a dead Kansas City Chiefs fan.
well, you know, John, Hillary, happy Valentine's Day.
Yes. I hope that will work. But the game is to be played, of course, in New Orleans, and it's it's interesting, that how the Super Bowl, I think, even more so than World Series, that one day is it's like a national holiday, and there are parties, Super Bowl parties, even a certain um major restaurant here in Queens now, no names, has sent me that they have a Super Bowl package. Trevor. But certainly it's I'll be watching that game. Although a lot of, and so interesting, Trevor. A lot of people watch the game for the halftime concert. you know.
Oh, yes. I mean,
Yeah.
the game is boring until the last 5 minutes.
you know. Anyway, let's close with some cricket history. On this day in cricket history 2022, India won their fifth under-19 title, beating England by 4 wickets in the Antigua final. Player of the match, Raj Bawa, 5 for 31, best figures in an under-19 World Cup final by a bowler. England 189 in 44.5 overs. India 195 for 6 in 47.4. And that's where we draw stumps on this Wednesday afternoon on John's Sports Corner. And folks, just remember to go to Winner's Circle Radio in the Sosofat shop and see the merchandise that's there and get something. The mugs are there. The Blue Mountain Coffee. You draw your Blue Mountain Coffee and you pour it in your mug and show your friends that you are a Sosofat listener, Sosofat viewer, a Sosofat subscriber. Get aboard.
Thank you.
Sosofat.
Thank you so much, John. Thank you so much. Thank you.